Zambians have settled on two candidates, Tom's Pamoja Alliance. Zambia Decides 2026. Zambia Decides 2026. Zambia Decides 2026. Zambia Decides 2026. Zambia Decides 2026.
It's a historical day. It's election day in Zambia. Zambia is holding its presidential, parliamentary, and local government elections. Tell us where you are calling us from and share with us your experience if you are at the polling station. The lines are open. I've got a powerful team with me that will join with me and share your experience. We're already receiving some reports in Lusaka and other places that some voting material are missing. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and share your contribution.
Okay, good morning, Mamba.
Good morning.
Yeah, so this is Mike from Zambia, Lusaka.
Yes, we can make your contribution.
Yes, I'm in a queue. We started voting. Our polling station operates around 6:40 for today.
What polling station is that?
Inside. This is Shalom.
Shalom in Makeni. Has it opened?
Yes, it has opened. It's opened today.
Okay. Any challenges? Any queues? Explain to us what's happening.
Yeah, so there's calm here. The situation is calm, and the only challenge we are facing right now is the weather. It's very hot today. Like if we are to estimate, maybe it's ranging between 17 to 15 degrees right now.
It's cold or hot?
Cold, but very cold.
Very cold. Oh, I see. Asheni Mbabula.
No, we are here actually. We'll make sure that we cast our votes no matter the circumstances.
Yes. How's the queue? Is the queue long?
Very, very long. Like,
Have people started voting?
Yes, they've started.
Ah, okay. No, my brother, you can call us when you vote and then you can give us your experience.
Okay, I'll do so. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The lines are open. If you're on a queue, tell us where you are calling us from and share your experience. We received some messages that some polling station didn't have pens, some polling station didn't have ink. Just verify for us where you are calling from and let us know how it is going where you are going. A gentleman from Makeni is telling us that the line is long, but it's very cold for him, but they're on the queue and they will, they'll endure and vote. It's Zambia Decides today, and let's just understand what's happening across the country. Share with us either in the comments or you can call the number on the line and tell us your experience. Zambia today is voting. It's that day, it's D-Day to vote for any of your candidates. When my team comes, we'll be reviewing the press, the newspapers of the day, and we go straight into election day issues.
Zambia Decides 2026. Zambia Decides 2026.
Lusaka is reporting high voter turnout. Long queues snaking around corners, and people have already started voting. It's been a cold day, but people turned up even as early as 03, where in Tendere I saw people that had turned up as early as 03. Tell us your experience. Contribute in our comments and tell us your experience. Today is election day, and we cover the details regarding the elections.
Candidate Brian Mundubayo, who has emerged as a leading candidate facing off the incumbent and append leader, President Hakainde Hichilema. Join the debate as we give detailed analysis, opinions, and information regarding election results.
Lucas Kamwale from Kitwe says we've been at the polling station, but it's not yet open. Look at the time. It's 6:48. The polling station should have opened now. This is Lucas Kamwala, who is in Kitwe, Kapoto, and he says the polling station is not open. Those are the experiences we want to hear from you. Give us your experience.
Fight them They can do what they want to do. But there will never be a time when I will fail to do what is needed because I am afraid. I drove here by myself. I parked my car next to the polling station. And if anybody wants to do me harm for what I've done, they are welcome to do it. But I will not be afraid. And I'm urging all of you in the NRUP, UP, and in the RP, monitors, to not be afraid. We have to protect our votes, no matter how many of us are going to pick up. We must be able to defend the democracy of this country. If others will be afraid, we most of all must be unafraid.
Mr. Lungu, we're coming to a close. What's your word to the Zambian out there who will be going to the polls?
I am saying my urge to the Zambian people. And I'm not only talking to the general Zambian people, I'm talking to people who are supporting my position. I'm talking to people some of the people who are not supporting my position but can see the honesty by which I am expressing this. I am talking to those of you who are undecided. This election is no longer about an individual who wants to get into power. It is about an individual who is in power, who has made our lives very difficult even when he undertook to make them better. Okay? So I urge all of you to turn out. If you want change, don't stay at home on Thursday. Get up. Get on up and tell your neighbor and your brother and your sister and your mother and every circle of you to get on up and go and vote.
Lungu, we're coming to a close. What's your word to the Zambian out there who will be going to the polls?
I am saying my urge to the Zambian people. And I'm not only talking to the general Zambian people, I'm talking to people who are supporting my position. I'm talking to some of the people who are not supporting my position but can see the honesty by which I am expressing this. I am talking to those of you who are undecided. This election is no longer about an individual who wants to get into power. It is about an individual who is in power, who has made our lives very difficult even when he undertook to make them better. Okay? So I urge all of you to turn out. If you want change, don't stay at home on Thursday. Get up. Get on up and tell your neighbor and your brother and your sister and your mother and every circle of you to get on up and go and vote.
It's no development that doesn't come from land and natural resources. And land and natural resources are ours. Why should we be poor? This fumusizwera famu waruna. This fumusizwera famu saluna. Zolunyantela kistamani. Mwalike soka ufela. Mwendi munani womulata ulu. Omubata kuketa. Kono abayo fa ballot paper. Hakuna kolo ya kubaketa. In an election, your only choice are those people who are on the ballot paper. This year, 2026, on 13th August 2026, on the ballot paper, if we are realistic, there is only one bad man and one good man. Coordinator na wanu kuhela kuliaeza zete fosalile weza munya kitwalo nani mikulela kuliaeza twalo unanilunya yaeza ze twalo unanilunya yana nilunya kiena yomu mukubaba yenu fa ballot paper this year kana natoka kumikupa kuli mumulundile natoka kumikupa kuli don't vote for him.
Gracias.
And the final hours of the campaign changed the mood of tomorrow's vote. After months of rallies, promises, debates, and political battles, the campaign trail officially comes to an end today. Tomorrow, millions of Zambians will head to the polls to make their voices heard. As the final campaign hours unfold, what are you watching for? Can the final hours of the campaign change the mood of tomorrow's vote? After months of rallies, promises, debates, and political battles, the campaign trail officially comes to an end today. Tomorrow, millions of Zambians will head to the polls to make their voices heard. As the final campaign hours unfold, what are you watching for? Can the final hours of the campaign change the mood of tomorrow's vote? After months of rallies, promises, debates, and political battles, the campaign trail officially comes to an end today. Tomorrow, millions of Zambians will head to the polls to make their voices heard.
Augustine, good morning, and thank you very much for joining me as we wait for Dr. Brian Sampa. How are you?
Doing very fine, Ambassador. Good evening and good morning, Zambia.
What are you hearing from Zambia?
Well, I mean, obviously, people woke up very early in the morning. Thank you, Ambassador, for having this program. I think you've been working very hard. I hope you're getting some rest wherever you are. I mean, you're on online midday, you're online in the morning. It's amazing stretch. Your work rate is that of a youth when you're not.
Yeah, no, let's hope the Lord preserves our health in these very difficult circumstances. But let us, continue.
No. What a great job you're doing. I've been speaking to colleagues. I mean, some people slept at polling stations. You know, they prepared themselves to go as early as they could. I've been speaking to many people that are already at polling stations. Others have already started voting. So far, we are getting reports that everything is moving on smoothly. There are huge queues, a lot of numbers. People have gone to the polling stations with their own pens. They are prepared to use their own tools to vote. Of course, we are yet to get feedback from different other areas. We want to know whether materials have arrived on time across all polling stations. I think a little over 13,000, is it? Polling stations in the
13,529.
13,529. So we hope that all the materials have arrived safely and people have voted everywhere. I think we will be getting all that information probably within the next hour or so.
We're complaining about poll agents that are not trained by ECZ, that didn't sit for aptitude tests that have been put, especially in Lusaka, Copperbelt, and other places. And I'm receiving a report already that there's confusion at Myoma polling station in Chilenje. There are arrogant poll staff. The regulations require that they place the register on the window so that people can identify where the stream is. But the poll staff, who are extremely hostile, are refusing to do that, and there's confusion. The police must quickly check that. ECZ must give clear instructions. This is why we were saying People must be trained. Don't just put people as poll staff because you want to provide jobs for party cadres. Allow people that were qualified, that went through the training, that passed the aptitude test for them to man polling station. There is confusion at Mioma polling station in Chilenje, where arrogant poll staff have refused to stick either on the notice board or on the windows for people to check. Remember, there are polling stations, then there are voting centers. So some schools have various polling stations, and you have to check where your polling station is. A school can be a voting center, and it can house 3, 5, or even 8 polling stations. Remember, there are 13,529 polling stations and only 9,000 voting centers. So the case of in Chilenje at Mioma polling station is typical, where one voting station has various polling stations, and then you have these arrogant poll staff that are refusing to comply with the regulations. They are telling them, stick so that we can check. He wants, so many hundreds to tell him their name, then he points them to where it is. Confusion. Please share your experience. We are in the studio and we are here to listen to you.
And the final hours of the campaign changed the mood of tomorrow's vote. After months of rallies, promises, debates, and political battles, the campaign trail officially comes to an end today. Tomorrow, millions of Zambians will head to the polls to make their voices heard. As the final campaign hours unfold, what are you watching for? Can the final hours of the campaign change the mood of tomorrow's vote? After months of rallies, promises, debates, and political battles, the campaign trail officially comes to an end today. Tomorrow, millions of Zambians will head to the polls to make their voices heard.
Augustine, you can share any message that you receive, and you can share it, just alert me. Percy from Kitwe in Luangwa says the process has started very well and the line is moving smoothly, and he hopes to cast his vote soon. That's very good. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Good morning, Ambassador Mamba. And
good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Mkonka. I've seen Mr. Mkonka there. I think when I just came back from, I went as area. This is Mr. Mulenga, actually. I'm calling you from Kabwe Central.
Yes.
I'm just from voting. I went as area as 005.
Yes.
They opened the polling station at 6. We have voted so far. I think from what I've looked at the situation is calm. People, the queues now are becoming long. People are coming to vote. I only pray and hope that the situation will be as calm as it is anywhere else. I think infilafina turela ndakuvota but I've seen ngamule mona balondora ba presiding officer bali popalia balandeshina mwamona filafina mwaishiba na polling agents wamoneshina wamonatia nifini bali bikabe. But then what is important is to cast our votes in numbers, so that we can get the change that we need. But so far so good. I only pray and hope that everywhere else it will be the same situation, and we'll be around, we'll be on the ground also to see what is going on.
Wonderful, wonderful. So much, really. Thank you very much. Type your experience in. We'll read your comment. Type in your experience. There's here is some message. The polling station at State House is a polling station outside, not in State House, at State House. Tempers are high because voters with surnames from N to Z do not have a voting stream, and they haven't voted up to now, and they haven't been identified. This is State House polling stations. Surnames from N to Z do not have a voting stream, and it has caused confusion. People are even joking that have you allocated our names to pre-marked ballots? Why? So State House, there is that issue, and many that are there are reporting this matter. And this this polling station extends far beyond State House. It goes into Kablonga, into Chilenje, State Lodge, and those near Rhodes Park, vote at State House polling station. And usually State House polling station is usually at the golf club. But someone can tell me where this polling station is. Is it at golf club? Is it at golf club, the State House, Lusaka Golf Club? Usually somewhere around. So, update us. We are in the studio of Augustine Mukoka, and Dr. Brian Sampa is expected to join us. Augustine, your views?
I think first of all, it's a good sign. It's a good sign that the people have come out. There's a lot of enthusiasm. I spoke to somebody on the Copper Belt who says, people look enthusiastic, people look determined, and it's a good sign for our democracy. It's a good sign for this election. We, of course, are expecting very good results. I've been also scanning through social media, and Ambassador have been discussing about regional voting, tribal voting. Unfortunately, I read a message from the former mayor of Livingston, Constance Nalishevo, telling the people of Dudumwezi to do the same as they have done. Now, you see, when people who served in leadership begin to campaign on such tribal lines, it becomes very unfortunate because regions are divided and they are divisive. Ours is to unite the country because we cannot, urge the people to divide, to vote based on our region or tribe. And I think those are some of the things we need to look out for. I also saw that the king, the respected king of Barotseland, the Litunga, has cast his vote among the first that obviously went on to cast his vote. And we are expecting President Hichilema to go to his usual polling station in Kablonga later mid this morning. We also expect President Brian Mundubile to proceed to his voting, polling station, and those are some of the big moments of the day as the day unfolds into this election period.
Thank you very much. So the State House voting station, I was talking about the police, the polling station, at State House, is next to the police camp, next to State House Clinic, just there, and the car park, State House Clinic and the police camp. There is a polling station called State House. This is where the names, alphabetical names from N to Z, have not been allocated a voting stream. ECZ, quickly check and see how you can correct that so that our people are not distressed. Allow them to vote in peace.
Zambia decides 2026. Zambians have settled on two candidates. Tongs Pamoji Alliance candidate Brian Mundubile, who has emerged as a leading candidate facing off the incumbent and append leader, President Hakainde Hichilema. Join the debate as we give detailed analysis, opinions, and information regarding election results. Zambia decides 2026. Zambia decides 2026. Zambia decides 2026.
Hello, caller.
Zambia decides 2026. Zambia decides 2026.
Fight them. They can do what they want to do. But there will never be a time when I will fail to do what is needed because I am afraid. I drove here by myself. I parked my car next to the polling station. And if anybody wants to do me harm for what I've done, they are welcome to do it. But I will not be afraid. And I'm urging all of you in the NRUP, UP, and in the RP, monitors, to not be afraid. We have to protect our votes, no matter how many of us are going to pick up. We must be able to defend the democracy of this country. If others will be afraid, we, most of all, must be unafraid.
Mr. Lungu, we're coming to a close. What's your word to the Zambian out there who will be going to the polls?
I am saying my urge to the Zambian people, and I'm not only talking to the general Zambian people, I'm talking to people who are supporting my position. I'm talking to some of the people who are not supporting my position, but can see the honesty by which I am expressing this. I am talking to those of you who are undecided. This election is no longer about an individual who wants to get into power. It is about an individual who is in power, who has made our lives very difficult, even when he undertook to make them better. Okay? So I urge all of you to turn out. If you want change, don't stay at home on Thursday. Get up. Get on up and tell your neighbor and your brother and your sister and your mother and every circle of you to get on. So I urge all of you to turn out. If you want change, don't stay at home on Thursday. Get up. Get on up and tell your neighbor and your brother and your sister and your mother and every circle of you to get on up and go and vote.
Zambia decides 2026. Zambia Decides 2026.
Augustine, let's do some more recaps. We'll be going to the newspapers of the day. I don't know what has happened to our dear brother Brian Sampa. He's a medical doctor. He could be at work, but I've sent him a message, and he had confirmed he'll be with us this morning. Let's just begin. Let's look at today's newspapers, and then we analyze. And PS Chandakazia, if you are around, just give me a quick call so that we can add you. Okay, so the Daily Nation is leading with Zambia votes, and it's listed President Hakainde Hichilema and the other 13 presidential candidates: Brian Mundubile, Harry Kalawa, Dr. Fred Membe, Xavier Chungu is still on the ballot, even if there's a notice to withdraw him. Remember the issues and the other candidates. That's a main story for Daily Nation. Bishop Imakando prays against vote rigging. And now state agents raid Makebi Zulu. That is the Daily Nation leading with Zambia votes, and with a good picture of President Hakainde Hichilema and the 13 other aspirants. The Must is leading. Let me just take this call. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from, and make your contribution.
I'm Hanomamba. This is Josh in Matero.
Josh in Matero,
so
give us.
I'm at Chingwere Primary School. So there are two streams here. There is Mau Mau and Chingwere. But under Chingwere, there is only one booth, and the line is very slow. They are picking one person, one woman, one man, but they are picking one to enter the booth. But what is surprising is there's only one booth, and it's very slow. And the queues are mounting and people are coming. But it's the process is taking very slow because they're picking one person to enter in the booth.
What place is that in Matero?
Chingwere Primary.
Chingwere Primary School. And there are just only two streams. And
so there are two streams. There's Mau Mau and Chingwere.
Okay. And there's just one booth for each.
There's only one booth inside, and they're picking one person to enter to go and cast their vote. But the queues are long, and they're picking one, so it's very slow. So I don't know why we can have one booth in the room.
ECZ, we don't want to accuse you of vote suppression. This is what we were talking about yesterday, that ECZ can engage in what is called vote suppression in areas where the opposition is registering strong and strength. They can engage in vote suppression. ECZ resolve those issues that are rising. Thank you very much. We'll prioritize the phone calls because we want to hear what's happening in the field. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from, and make your contribution. Mkwayo bachebati kuri ubwafya from N to Z amashinate alechita tabako tokwa kuvotela. So it's a matter that we've urged ECZ to quickly resolve. Yeah, thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from, and make your contribution.
Okay, my name is Chamata. I'm calling from Copper Belt.
Chamata, where on the Copper Belt?
In Chingola.
Chingola, which polling station are you at?
The SDA in Riverside.
SDA in Riverside. Give us a picture of what it is looking like.
Yeah, the numbers are very promising and good. The problem that is there is that there's a delay. They only, and then the people that are at the table, the ones that are issuing the ballot papers, they appear to be slow. There are 4 ladies there, but they appear to be quite slow. They are the ones that are delaying the line. It would have been better if maybe they had about 3 or 4 booths. Because the lines now are swelling up. When we got there before 6, we had maybe about 50 people, but now the line is quite swelling, going all the way up to the road, and it has curved into the road. So I think that is where the delay is being caused.
Thank you very much for that update.
It's quite chilly this morning, Ambassador Mwamba. It's quite chilly.
Yes, and Chingola does get cold. Chingola does get cold. Kwa wakati ni kumpika na nkuserenje. Sorry about it. I hope you carried something warm.
Riverside,
oh, I see. Yes, Riverside. Yes.
And tuikala kwa chiparupiri filia. Maisha kunchange fokwava.
Yes. Yo, vane mwikalefe palaini muvote. Tuami papata. Thank you very much for that update. Thank you very much. We'll prioritize. Thank you very much. We'll prioritize the phone calls. Augustine, that is the must leading with that story. Let's go to the other papers that are ready. The Times of Zambia is leading with a prominent picture of President Hakainde Hichilema and the other candidates squeezed in one small space. That's their major story. And let's go to News Diggers. I saw I have News Diggers somewhere. Let's see. Let me look for News Diggers.
Zambia decides 2026.
Yes, News Diggers are summarized matters like we have on this platform, that it is HH versus Mundubile and they are facing off. That's a major story. And HH saying, if you lose, try again, don't take to the streets. Then state nabs 3 ex-government officials over a plot to disrupt elections. Of course, we've discussed that matter on our program here. The Real Times is also leading with the two faces, President Hakainde Hichilema and Brian Mundubile, and it's just leading. The hour has come, like 1991. And Chaminuko CEO killers nabbed. They're quoting the police that I think informed us that they have picked 7 suspects in relation with the gruesome murder of Sterios Shula Sadanis, who was killed a few days ago. They say they've picked 7 people. Augustine, let me bring you here. You give your comments about the day's newspapers.
So,
thank you. You can offer your opinion.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Before I give an opinion on the day's headline, I think I was just also getting an update on the voting situation across the country. I see that there are also complaints of delays at many of these polling stations, or there isn't sufficient staff to process voters. There's a polling station in Chawama where I think there's an issue of power. The classrooms are not well lit, as well as the process is very slow. And Hot FM is also reporting that in Chiwombo, the voting at Mutakwa Primary School in the Mongole area, had not opened at 6. So they were still waiting for, I think, materials from the Electoral Commission of Zambia, although the officials were visible there. So there are these delays that are being reported. I'm not too sure. I've heard the caller said Chingola is also slow. And there's another one in Matero who said, there are only, I think, there's only one booth. I read somewhere that there was an issue with booths. ECZ did not procure enough booths. I don't know what could have happened on that one. ECZ have not issued any statement to be specific with regards to the number of booths they've distributed to the polling stations. Like you're saying, this could be a systematic way of suppressing the vote. You go into these polling stations and make it difficult for you to process voters on time and as quickly as possible. Then you find that we will be voting way into the late hours, even after 18, because what ECZ has said is, for as long as there is a queue at a polling station, they are not going to close the voting at the specific polling station. So those are challenges that we may experience by the time it's 18 hours and we're supposed to be closing voting. So I hope ECZ are going to be, proactive and act quickly so the process can speed up. Coming to the papers, of course, today is a big day in Zambia. The Daily Nation is leading with at least the Zambia votes announcement. I like the fact that they have not given one candidate prominence in terms of how they've used the pictures compared to the Times of Zambia. The Times of Zambia have used a big picture of President Hakainde Hichilema and then put the others in some corner. Yes, so sometimes the pictures can suggest bias in one way or the other. But I think I like the way the Daily Nation have framed it, and that is very good. We, like you have said, ECZ have, technically or just practically removed the, one of the presidential candidates, Xavier Chungo, saying that he's not on, his votes will not count. Whether he's voted or not, the votes will not count. So that we are reducing to about, there were 13, now they are 12 minus 1. Bishop Imakando is praying against vote rigging. How I wish we could have had men of God like Bishop Imakando speak about vote rigging way earlier than today. You and ourselves on this program have been saying rigging is a process. It doesn't only happen on voting day. I'll give you an example. Even if President Hakainde Hichilema received lukewarm reception around Lusaka, he was still campaigning as late as yesterday. However, the ECZ program restricted his opponents, his main rival, to Southern Province for this week, where he couldn't have gone as a result of security issues. That in itself is part of the rigging. He held the meeting in Chawama, he went to Mandevu, and I think he went to Matero, if I'm not mistaken. He also passed through Cairo Road. strangely, the people didn't even pay attention to him. It was, quite embarrassing that the head of state was passing through, everyone was going about their business. Yes, you can say there's security and stuff like that, but Ambassador, when people have attention focused on you, it is very visible that that attention will be felt, that attention will be seen. But we didn't see that in Chawama. We didn't see that in Cairo Road, even as he headed to Mandevu. However, that is also part of rigging. When you have one candidate with a clear advantageous latitude in the process, I think it's part of vote rigging, and it should not be allowed. And I wish Bishop Imakando could have started speaking out on these issues earlier than today, praying about these issues. I hope he's been doing that. But I wish he had been speaking about these. Maybe we could have seen them, mitigated. But if you look at the entire process, I think there was a significant approach to try and tilt this election towards President Hakainde Hichilema. However, the people of Zambia are having the final say in the ballot, and the result will show at the end of the day. So that is what I would submit with regards to the Daily Nation and its headline. Then again, in an election period, I do not know why there is so much apprehension that law enforcers would raid different homes of opposition leaders. We were discussing, I saw that you were discussing last night the incident in Wacha, where they picked the candidate for NRPUP on suspicion that he had ballots printed. When you critically look at those printed material, you can see that those are advertisement where you show people how you are going to vote and you distribute those. You raid his home, you pick him up before an election or on the eve of an election. You again go to another campaign center for President Brian Mundubile and his running mate Makebi Zulu. You raid the premises, you fire shots in that around the premises, you intimidate and scare people. What are you trying to achieve in this period when you conduct yourself in that manner? Why not allow the opposition?
Thank you, Augustine. Let me just take this call. We hear what our people are. There've been queues in Kabanana, as you can see, huge queues in Kabanana. And there's good delay and it's extremely cold. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
This is Stella calling you from Riverside.
Stella from Riverside, make your contribution.
Yes, I'm at the polling station, Valley View. We haven't started voting yet. Yes, there seems to be some confusions. The ballot papers arrived, I think, about 10 minutes ago, but we don't know which rooms to vote from according to the surnames. Well, the letters, yes, there's a little bit of confusion. It's almost going to 8, we haven't started voting yet.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. In Kitwe there, Riverside at Valley View polling station, the ballot papers have just arrived as stated by the caller. And they also don't know which stream they will use in voting. This one says, Ramwamba, good morning. I'm at Kasisi Primary. Voting started at exactly 06 and we have fair queues, very peaceful, and officials have been very professional, though it is very cold out here. This is in Kasisi. We have various international newspapers. Let me just quote the few international newspapers that have quoted Zambia's elections. We have AP News saying Zambia votes as president seeks second term. Then we have the Guardian, Zambia election haunted by the ghost of incumbents, president's arch-rival. We have the Africa Report with a picture of President Lungu, and they are saying Zambia elections, will Edgar Lungu come back to haunt the poor? And we have BBC saying Zambia election, Lungu Barrio Rao turns presidential race into a hot contest. And we have the Financial Times is also talking about that Zambia goes to elections and it's a battle that is over copper windfall. And the Financial Times of UK is actually quoting Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba among the people that they had spoken to. Let me take this caller and we hear where they are and how the voting is going. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from, and tell us your contribution.
Good morning, Ambassador Mwamba. My name is Gautama Nyerere. I am at Chunga Irrigation Center, and the polling station had just opened at 7:28. So there seemed to have been a delay in opening, but it's opening, and the crowd is, the queue is generally queuing up, eager and ready to cast our vote and move the country in the right direction. Thank you.
Would you know why the polling station opened late?
Just gave us a generic apology to say that issues that they sort out. They didn't go into detail, but they did. I can confirm here at Chunga Center that they opened at 7:28. It's been delayed.
Okay. Thank you very much from Chunga. Thank you very much, Gautama. Gautama giving us an update from Chunga, where the polling station opened very late, just slightly before. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from, and make your contribution.
Good morning, Ambassador Mwamba.
Good morning.
I will remain anonymous. So I'm calling from Lusaka,
Yes.
West.
Yes.
I was at Sekerera polling station.
Mm-hmm.
I must confirm that the number of voters who have turned out is very, very excellent. We have got a huge turnout. And I've just voted. They opened at around 6 hours, and I voted around 6:30.
Okay.
So the number is really overwhelming, yes, though.
You voted at what time?
At 6:30.
Oh, wonderful. Well done. You are a good citizen.
And the number is very huge. It's very huge.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for that update. Thank you very much. Family, call you, give us an update of where you are and how your voting took place, or if you are still on the queue. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from, and give us your contribution.
Hello, good morning, Mwamba. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, you are talking to Chilufya from Chiwombo District, Chifwankula polling station.
Chifwankula polling station. Mr. Chilufya, give us your contribution.
Yeah, so we can see a large number. The crowd is turning out, and we are ready to cast our votes.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you. Have you voted already?
Yes, actually, I came as early as 01.
Was there any delay?
No. It actually opened exactly as 06 hours, and we started with the casting of our votes. And I can confirm that I was the first one.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Chivombo area is UPND stronghold there, and you can see how smooth it is. And like I'm saying, I don't want to be proven right. You'll have urban centers reporting, or those areas that are deemed to be popular, where the opposition appear to be very strong, having all these challenges and difficulties. And in areas where the UPND could be strong, they will have it smooth. But we'll see how the pattern emerges. But already it's giving us an indication that people in urban areas are having challenges. And look at the caller from Kasisi, look at the caller from Chivombo, smooth and smooth. But look at the callers from Lusaka, from the places that we've reported. Look at the callers from Chingola. There's what is called voter suppression, and we don't want it to happen. We are still throwing the challenge to ECZ to do the right thing. Augustine Chandakazia will be joining us shortly, but you can give us your contribution.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Yes, so Eastern Province, I think there are some good pictures that we are seeing from Chipata Central constituency. We just haven't received a specific update on how smooth the process is going. I've seen some pictures. We are yet to receive, the specific update on that one. So I was talking also, Ambassador, on the voter turnout. I think it was, it's been impressive so far. The challenge we are having is whether ECZ was prepared for this election. Did they anticipate the turnout, or is this deliberate? We are having huge numbers. The updates we're getting, even from Lusaka Central itself, there are huge numbers. I mean, people are on the streets, have been on the streets since last night. Others joined them this morning. The queues are increasing, and the concern that the process is very slow must be attended to. And it should explain why ECZ engaged into last-minute machinations to change.
Just a minute, Augustine. Just give us a minute. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from, and make your contribution. Hello, caller.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Give us the details quickly.
Yeah.
Hello?
Things are just going okay, and the polling station was opened around 06:20. By the way, I was the second to pass it.
Wonderful. What place is that?
Chawama na Katindi.
Oh.
Chawama Lusaka.
You have voted already?
I've already voted.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you very much. You have anything else to say?
No, what I can just say is that people, they should just gather together, cooperation, they have to remove violence, because violence cannot take us somewhere else.
Thank you very much. A caller from Chawama, he says he voted, he was the second, and that the polling station opened at 6:20. This one says, Bamwamba Amachingwere Primary School in Matero, there's only one booth in the voting room, and they're only picking one person from queue. The process is extremely slow. Another caller echoing to the caller from Chunga, Gautama. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from, and give us your contributions.
This is Vincent calling from Kitwe.
Tell us your details, and the details where you are, especially the polling station, and how is it there?
I was at Wesley Nyirenda polling station. I voted. The turnout is building up, even though I voted around 6:45. Okay. Everything is normal here in Kitwe.
Or at the polling station at Wesley Nyirenda, everything was okay?
Yes, they opened around 6:01. Yeah.
Oh, they were very efficient. Good. Good report from Wesley Nyirenda polling station, which opened on time, and this caller, within 45 minutes, he had voted. That's a very good report. Let us welcome Wachanda. Wachanda, mwaiseni, mwachiruvira mubowa.
Yachishunga kupano lelo epozwachiruvira mwaliswa charo changondo.
No, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you. You've been following the program and you've been following reports from Lusaka. Just give us your reflections so far.
I think it shows a slow start, but relatively peaceful so far. And I think it will definitely be picking up. And what is important, Bamwamba, is what the voters are saying, giving us the details of where they are, what is happening, and the state of, the situation, whether it's peaceful, whether it's slow, like the last caller said, like, there it's normal. I've started putting up, numbers in terms of, where the person is calling from and what the situation looks like, so that, again, we can still maybe at a later time follow up with them to see where we are at. And what we can just urge people is to go out there and vote, exercise their right to vote. And also to assure everybody that, there should be nothing that should indicate like someone owes you their vote when they've not done anything, And also there's another notion by the background before I came on, which most people were having. I was having a conversation with some of them, is where people think that if they go and vote, someone is miraculously watching them, knowing how they're voting.
Just a minute, Wachanda. Just a minute. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
I will remain anonymous.
That is fine.
I'm from Kafiwe.
Thank you.
I'm from Kafiwe town. I went there around 05:30. There was a good number of people, and the names were allocated according to the letters. So at least it was moving. The lines were moving, and it's peaceful.
Wonderful. What polling station is that in Kafiwe?
That is Kafiwe Day Secondary School.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much for that update.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another good report from Kafiwe saying the process was smooth at Kafiwe Secondary School. Make your contribution. Bachanda, you are on the floor.
Yes. And thank you very much for our caller who has just indicated that there's peaceful procession. The procession right now is looking good. But just to tell people that no one owes you don't owe anyone, a life that they should be scaring you to say they're miraculously watching you, how you are voting. That does not arise. Exercise your right to vote. Exercise, because you don't owe anybody an explanation for voting the way you want to vote. So we are following that, and I'm happy, Mwamba, to hear from the callers and how they're experiencing that, and then we can still have a conversation more on some of the issues that have happened during the day.
His Majesty the Lutunga Luwosimuiko II turned up very early and was among the first voters at dawn. Immediately it was 6 o'clock. He was among those that voted at the Kuta 1 polling station in Mongu. What patriotism! That's what we want from. Yeah.
Yeah, that is. But you see, when you see such kind of leadership, that has tasted the time. It has been a leadership of the time. Like, it is a good example to all of us that if the king can wake up in the morning.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
This is Kapia. I'm calling from Chicago. Sir, just a quick one. In Kabwe, what is happening right now? My nephew is just from casting his votes. So Achiranjawati, ofo bale bachita, ngawasika pa boothi, they are telling them that ama details yobe na yaluba tauli mom system. So shafi ama details yobe, so you go and verify. Ushama details, ufume mu booth, you go and verify. No, but my nephew Achkan, I said that no, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Just take your papene, inshini nkishe. There is no mwinganja batama details yandina yaluba fionsana firuba tapadi, I come some other time. Where am I going? And why do you want my details? If you are telling me to leave, why should I leave my details? Ofo Achkan omo aitachiba kakasha. Kiatira chitike 2 minutes ago.
Just get us the name of the polling station, so what we put under glare some of these poll staff. Because remember, we've been complaining that they had hired, this is it, had hired, there's some underhand methods that's going on. So at least get us an actual polling station.
Okay,
so
let me do that just now, sir. Let me do that.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Be specific. It helps. You know, citizen journalism requires that you are very, very specific. I've always taught those people that take videos of accident, they will just say, yeah, I want to work for, yeah, I want to work for. And you know, the video will be posted and everyone will be asking, where is the accident? Has anyone died? Where are you? So that is the same issue. Please give us just what, where, and how, what's happening. That will help us. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Okay, my name is Mwemba.
Mwemba.
How are you, Mr. Mwemba?
I'm very well, Mwemba. Tell us where you are, if you have voted at all, and where you are, and what your experience was.
Okay, actually, I have already voted. I voted around 06:30 at Nyumbayanga Secondary School. The polling station opened at 06:10. And the numbers are very encouraging. So far, it's very peaceful.
Okay. Thank you very much for our call. Mr. Mwemba from Nyumbayanga, thank you, and that's good encouraging from Nyumbayanga. Thank you very much. Hello, our caller is back. Hello, caller, please tell us, Yes, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
This is Kapia again, sir.
Yes, we are reporting about a matter in Kabwe. Do you know the polling station and under which constituency?
The polling station is Broadway.
Okay.
Broadway is a secondary school. It's a school. It's a Broadway polling station.
Wonderful. At least we have that detail. But under you are not in Hein.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Our caller is gone.
Continuing the violence, we will not allow that. This election will be free and fair, and the winner will emerge. Let the winner take charge of the country as per the constitutional provisions. So we're not concerned about the useless things they talk about. Our concern is the
Hello, you want to contribute?
We're coming to a close. What's your word to the Zambian out there who will be going to the polls?
I am saying my urge to the Zambian people, and I'm not only talking to the general Zambian people, I'm talking to people who are supporting my position. I'm talking to some of the people who are not supporting my position, but can see the honesty by which I am expressing this. I am talking to those of you who are undecided. This election is no longer about an individual who wants to get into power. It is about an individual who is in power, who has made our lives very difficult, even when he undertook to make them better. Okay? So I urge all of you to turn out. If you want change, don't stay at home on Thursday. Get up, get on up, and tell your neighbor and your brother and your sister and your mother and every circle of you to get on up and go and vote.
Their registration plates at all times. We further urge the RTSA and Zambia Police Service to enforce the law consistently and impartially, regardless of political affiliation, in order to promote accountability and strengthen public confidence in the electoral process. We move to the second issue. Now, TIZ has closely followed the Electoral Commission of Zambia's management of the ballot paper printing exercise, which was conducted in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. We commend the Commission for taking deliberate steps to enhance transparency throughout the exercise by accrediting representatives of political parties, civil society organizations, election observers, and members of the media to witness the printing process. The Commission also provided very regular public updates and responded to concerns related to different aspects such as ballot paper quantities, excess ballot papers arising from booklet printing requirements, as well as candidates whose names remained on the ballot after withdrawal and other operational matters. These efforts contributed positively to strengthening stakeholder confidence in the ballot printing process. But at the same time, TIZ noted concerns that were raised by some stakeholders regarding the delay in the arrival of ballot papers in the country, as well as the costs incurred by political parties to observe the printing process. While the Commission addressed many of these concerns publicly, the discussions demonstrate that continuous stakeholder engagement and timely communication remain very essential during sensitive stages of the electoral process. TIZ therefore encourages the ECZ to maintain the same level of openness and proactive communication throughout the remaining stages of this electoral process. Equally, political parties and other stakeholders should raise concerns responsibly and avoid circulating unverified information that may unnecessarily undermine public confidence in the Commission or indeed in the electoral process itself. We move to the last issue. Now, as I said, we have noted with concern the continued involvement of some public officers in public political discourse during the election period, which is an issue that we have highlighted in a previous update. Most recently, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Information and Media, Mr. Tawo Kawana, publicly urged Zambians not to support a return to the governance style associated with a former Patriotic Front administration while defending the record of the current UPND administration. Now, while government has a legitimate responsibility to communicate policies, programs, and achievements, public officers should exercise caution not to engage in partisan political campaigning. TIZ wishes to remind Mr. Kawana and other civil servants that are engaging in active political activities, whether in support of the ruling UPND or any other political party, that active participation in politics by civil servants constitutes gross misconduct. In particular, number G under category B of the Disciplinary Code and Procedures for Handling Offences in the Public Service explicitly makes it an offence for public officers to engage in active politics, including speaking in public on political matters. As we did in our fourth update on the 21st of July, regarding Mr. Andrew Banda's active engagement in political activities while serving as Zambia's ambassador to South Korea, we again wish to amplify our call to the Secretary to the Cabinet, Mr. Patrick Kangwa, to institute necessary disciplinary measures against the two public officials for brazenly abrogating this position. The deafening silence from the Secretary to the Cabinet when his officers are so publicly abrogating the disciplinary... Bachanda,
you can continue with your thoughts. We had disturbed you and you joined us late. Please give your review.
Okay. I'm following really good, and the snapshots that we are bringing in, Wamwamba, is really very helpful to the voters. and also to show that the level of public service interference in the political discourse and when they should be neutral. I'm particularly very happy with the Transparency International, TIA is Zambia, so that, they bring certain core for restraint by the public officers in the political discourse. It doesn't add or show any credibility to our public service system if a civil servant like P.S. Kawana and his colleague are, are getting involved to the point of even, issuing profanities and vulgar language around the opposition. It is not right. And I it is something that the public must resist through the ballot. For me, that is where the core is, because these are things that we have raised. These are things that stakeholders, very credible stakeholders, have raised to government to say, can you deal with the civil servants that are abrogating with impunity? They lay down procedures and like they don't exist, it doesn't exist to them, but they enjoy yet the money that comes from the public service, the facilities and everything that comes from public service. And it is a right call to the Secretary to Cabinet to act and to restrain people like Mr. Kawana to stop, active disparaging remarks around the opposition and promoting one. So I bear that. But I was talking about the king, Litunga, the King Litunga. It's a wonderful show of patriotism. That's the leadership that is at the epitome of bringing our civil discourse to show that if the king can wake up at 4 to go and vote, I have no words other than to thank him and to show that that is the kind of leadership that the country needs. You rarely hear him speak about anything that shows division. He is a unifier. And that unity is what I think he has encouraged every political leader to do. And that is what I think Honorable Brian Mundubile, President Mundubile, is talking about. It is that discourse to say that can we bring ourselves together and ensure that we are one people and the people that can change the destiny of our own country. And anyone who comes in to disturb that peace, that unity, we must reject. And there should be no one who should think that there's an invisible eye over their ballot or whether they decide. No. And I've been told that the security officers that it is an allegation. They have no proof for it, but I need to say it right here, that the police officers have been told that if they don't, they get their rage, they are being watched as they go to vote. And please, you should know better that there is no one watching you. Make your decision. It is your right. It's your destiny. It's a destiny for your children. And we must reject this kind of intimidation through the ballot. Like everyone is saying, no violence, we shouldn't do violence, but we should decide in a very, very decisive manner through the ballot to change a leadership that is not living up to our expectation.
Thank you. Augustine, pick it up. I want to come and break news, so just excuse me for a bit. Augustine? Oh, Augustine needs to log in. I can see I've missed him there. Augustine needs to log in again.
Continuing the violence, we will not allow that. This election will be free and fair, and the winner will emerge. Let the winner take charge of the country as per the constitutional provisions. So we're not concerned about the useless things they talk about. Our concern is the
And the final hours of the campaign changed the mood of tomorrow's vote. After months of rallies, promises, debates, and political battles, the campaign trail officially comes to an end today. Tomorrow, millions of Zambians will head to the polls to make their voices heard. As the final campaign hours unfold, what are you watching for? Can the final hours of the campaign change the mood of tomorrow's vote? After months of rallies, promises, debates, and political battles, the campaign trail officially comes to an end today. Tomorrow,
millions of Zambians will head to the polls to make their voices heard. As the final campaign hours unfold, what are you watching for?
Indeed, we have breaking news. U.S. senators, they've urged President Hakainde Hichilema not to abuse the law, not to abuse the laws that once jailed him, and not to manipulate the electoral process. This is a breaking news. There's a statement that has just been released, issued, ahead of elections in Zambia. Senator Shaheen, Senator Bukas, Senator Meckley, Senator Van Hollen have issued this very powerful statement on the elections in Zambia. Let's go to the granular details. 4 members of the United States Senate, including the ranking member of Foreign Relations Committee, have warned of deteriorating electoral environment on the eve of Zambia's general elections. The 4 United States senators have issued a public warning that the ruling party is undermining the country's electoral environment and that President Hakainde Hichilema is deploying the electoral environment and the tactics that President Hakainde Hichilema is deploying against his opponent, the same law once used to imprison him. The statement released in Washington on 12th August, which was yesterday, carries an unusual weight. It is signed by Senator Jean Shaheen, ranking member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Senator Cory Booker, ranking member of the Subcommittee on Africa and Global Health Policy, and Senator Jeff Meckley and Chris Van Hollen. The senators said they were very concerned by the ruling party's attempt to undermine the electoral environment ahead of the vote. They observed that in recent conduct recalls earlier elections in which political opponents, including Mr. Hichilema himself, were arrested to silence the opposition, and that President and the UPND now appear to be increasingly using the same tactics and laws that once victimized him and imprisoned political figures like Hichilema himself. They've identified 2 specific failures. One, laws governing political gathering, they said, selectively enforced to stifle the opposition. And Zambia's constitutional and electoral framework, in their own words, were hastily reformed without meaningful civil society consultation. The intervention lands at the close of campaign in which the leading opposition candidate, Brian Mundubile, has seen more than 50 members of his campaign team detained without charge. His media center raided, over 7 million kwacha, money earmarked for polling agents seized from his lawyers' chambers, and an entire province abandoned on his schedule after his party cited fears for the safety of those attending. It also follows an Amnesty International agent report published on 10th August describing an alarming regression into authoritarian practices in Zambia. And the statement issued same day by former Attorney General Musa Mwenye that the country now holds political detainees in extrajudicial detention. Notably, the senators didn't endorse any candidate, but they urged all parties to commit to peaceful elections and to consistent enforcement of the law regardless of party affiliation. They called on the U.S. Department to deepen engagement with Zambian civil society and the Zambian government, and that they are cautiously remaining hopeful that the election should provide an opportunity for free and fair contest and that the will of Zambians will be respected. Well, this is the breaking news. You know, the U.S. senators have issued this very powerful statement on Zambia, fearing that the electoral process is being manipulated and that they are surprised that President Hakainde Hichilema seems to be using the same laws that oppressed him, the same laws that sent him to jail, to deploy them against his political opponents. I've put the full page of that statement on my Facebook page and the link, and if you want to see it, you can share it. My dear brother, let's start with Chandakazia. P.S. There is a powerful statement from that was issued just in the evenings, just a few hours ago for us, because we haven't gone into Thursday yet. We are still on Wednesday. So for us, it was issued a few hours ago, end of day today. But for Zambians, they're already voting. Just give us your reflections.
That is a very, very powerful statement. And they rarely get involved to the extent of issuing such caution. When you see that this caution coming up, it means that there is very serious global conversations around what is happening in Zambia. We must know that they are also interested in the protection of the investments that are in Zambia and the decision, their future investment decisions that they've made in as far as Zambia is concerned, and also looking at the political stability of the country is very important in that discourse. And that is why you see that there is that. Now, over and above that, it's not just the economical part of it, because they know that once we become, once Zambia is destabilized, it has a ripple effect into the region. You know, it has they will still be now required to come and be compelled to help in terms of humanitarian crisis that arises from that, because at that point in time, you find that maybe finances may not even be there. So the U.S. state government has really, the U.S. government has been one of those that have been very keen in terms of supporting humanitarian, programs. And when you see that statement come, it means there has been a very good, detailed assessment. And you may remember, Vamwamba, that in the past, the U.S. government has issued the condemnation of the Zambian government when they were saying there are extrajudicial killings that is being done, disappearances of citizens. And when they brought out that report, there was a very huge backlash from the government that we're not doing this, we're not doing that. But now it couldn't be hidden anymore, that everybody is able to see. Look at the numbers that they are giving us. If you are going to have 50 political detainees, you detain them. If they've committed crimes, why are they not appearing before the court of law? It is a very big concern for everybody. It is not just the US state government. It is a concern for us that if there is a suspicion of a crime, arrest the way you've done it, present the facts to court, let the court make a decision. But when you arrest people and they don't see the end of the day in court, those become what the former Attorney General discussed as political detainees. So now you are detaining them without any basis other than their political affiliation or their political opinion. So the U.S. State Department, the Department of State, when you see such kind of warning, it means that it is a call for government to reflect on what it is doing. They do not want to see another country destabilized, which has been very stable. We have been a beacon of peace in the region. Our electoral system has changed leaders 7 times. He is, he's been elected through that process. And what is very interesting is that they remind the president, they remind our government that these are things that you suffered. These are things that they supported, that when you come into place, you're going to change. So it is something that I'm interested to see how it unfolds.
Thank you very much. Let me take callers before I bring in Augustine for his opinion. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
I didn't know that you were online. I would have preferred to stay anonymous.
Okay, you would like to speak as anonymous and contribute, or we call you later?
You please call me later.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Augustine, I hope he's back. I missed him. Oh, yes. Augustine, are you following the statement from the U.S. Department? Very powerful. No, from U.S. Senators and Foreign Relations Committee. It's a statement that has been issued by Senator Shaheen, Senator Booker, Senator Meckley, Senator Van Hollen, and they've issued this statement ahead of the elections. Just give us your thoughts about it.
That's a very powerful rebuke. It's an indictment on President Hakainde Hichilema, because the Americans have supported him through and through, and they consider this election, as a beacon of hope for Zambia and for democracy in the region. To see them come out so strongly about his actions speaks volumes of how dissatisfied they are with the level of leadership he has demonstrated over the last 5 years. It clearly shows that they're not happy with the man who endured a certain lifestyle during his days in opposition, doing exactly the same. If you go through a certain situation, Ambassador, and you condemn it, and it's not good for you, it's not good for your country, you cannot come and repeat and become worse, worse off than your predecessors. Because what, President Hichilema has done is unprecedented. There were no times he was treated in the manner he's treating his colleagues during an election period. I was in Zambia during the 2021 elections. President Hichilema was not raided. His offices were intact. His cadres were dancing at the secretariat, I think, in Elizabeth Villa near Thorn Park. His community house was intact. So why is he, after his opponents in the manner that, doesn't really give a good picture about our democracy? It shows that there's a problem here. And the international community has now picked up. It's very rare that the American senators issue such statements. When they issue a statement, you would know that there's a problem and they can no longer use quiet diplomacy to deal with it. They now have taken it publicly and they're demonstrating that they are not happy with what is happening. Just like the many Zambians who've observed these repressive elements of leadership that have emerged, they are joining us to say, this is not how you lead the people. This is now not how you abuse the law to try and govern or stay in power. I think it's a very good statement for democracy. It's a very good statement for Zambia, but it speaks volumes about the leadership President Hichilema has introduced to the country. It's undemocratic, and I think he should take note. It's probably a serious indictment on his credentials as leader of the country.
Thank you very much. Yes, there is breaking news. U.S. senators have expressed concern at President Hichilema's manipulation of the electoral process. They've issued a statement. Let me quote part of the statement. This is why we are especially concerned by the Zambian ruling party's attempt to undermine the country's electoral environment ahead of its August 13th elections. The ruling party's recent actions are reminiscent of previous elections where political opponents, including current President Hakainde Hichilema, were arrested in an effort to silence the opposition. President Hakainde Hichilema and the United Party for National Development appear to be using the same laws that once victimized and imprisoned political figures like President Hichilema himself, so that he can propel himself to a second term. Laws governing political campaign gatherings have selectively been enforced to stifle opposition rally, and Zambia's constitution and electoral framework were hastily reformed without meaningful civil society and other stakeholders consultation. That is a very, very strong statement that has been issued by 4 senators. Senator Jean Shaheen, ranking member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Senator Cory Booker, you know him as leader of the opposition in Congress, then ranking member of the Subcommittee on African Global Health Policies, and Senator Jeff McCleary and Senator Chris Van Hollen. For the United States, they are the largest bilateral donor to Zambia. They contribute in excess of $500 billion a year in the last 20 years. And most of this money, they're not loans, they're grants, especially to our health sectors to support HIV, AIDS, ARVs, TB, and other illnesses that they've been, trying to have eradicated at the Ministry of Health. They've also been great supporter and financial supporter to our education sector and other sectors. They are the largest bilateral donor to our country. I know people think it's China. It's actually the United States in the last 20 years, because consistently they've given us up to $500 million in grants, not loans. And here, the senators have come together and issued this strong rebuke against electoral malpractices. Let me take this call and hear from him. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and give us your contribution. Shanwa Munkonge.
Kwa ichakula bila kuwa mwamba kwa ndeni pepera pakalamba sana resare nipala kaino murimo wangi kurapachalo okachichanyi okafikirichie kwantu murimo mwabombo kwafuma murimo kalamba sana ili karaka mwafuma mukuverenga ba mwamba mashiwe nisho mutumulanda pa broadcast hapa tumufuma fya kuisura amensona aba centers ero ndototera reso kulingana no kwa vota lero aba bantu bapere statement bantu abakwe bati katisha fo ngalo ndorora ico kirange ko bati n'abakwata concern atama votes ayo tukote ero mukusumpaura fo bamwamba kingo cyara ntotera sa bamwamba mwayambiro kuranda about 3 months ago pamwana ndo yidingo ofo yamba na ariko interesana pama key points mwashera ndabamwamba pa key point imo yomwarangire ikankara sana ichi ya rigging mwaripere point ifya kwati rigging na ngubenga chitashani ayena Zambia nga waima in numbers tapari rigging opoinga bomba nomba bena Zambia nga wakana chawe kono kuvota kwa vote nchirigging yapita so na reto ntonkanya posana nomba ninsa ngoko wata bena Zambia wa mwamba na hema abakote na barangana aba ninsetera ninkwata amafoni kozi kumakusorezi nimbatera namba baranitumira ama-update ayingira ama-videos kusorezi last 2021 babipera kungo nonga bamwambanji kushenya tukusorezere kuri shanyi benyine zero free ora abanenso bakubata bakwatano omwenso tonse pare kubarevotera bareranda pani change yakubika kuba mundire cyo kirange kwe bati ida point mwarangire bamwambe kwe batabera Zambia ngabayima in numbers mukuvota takwaba ligi nyingi yonse inga chimfya vote yabena Zambia so cyo mkote sana insansa ebyo na broadcast yeno lero bamwamba mwe fyaba kushpa kofi mwe kofi yaba kushpa oro muntu rekona munjere kona mba kama numbers yenu ya wantu ngara mitumi na mwama videos in case of anything na update yonse because if in fena bamwamba ndo sure because ati film tu frafina mwarira ndagera Zambia bali ni kwa vema unless muntu ngina rufyafe voters card konse kuma sorezi kurako no kwa shopire na vema vena no mwera wa chenyi in polling station bara mpera ma video stage onse ucho ninga tokera fwa mambo nisto mwabomba ikaramba apa mwafika na mtu wa bushoko ningalanda ero na tokera na ba America pakusura menso ucho na bushoko kwa governance ngatwa chinjana yo shonse mpya batukera tukambo kwenda buno kwani tunachalira baeche china batubusha koronyo lu oro wa America techa bombere pamana koronyo lu takwa muntu rero msha koronyo lu ro fare mpya cha democracy cha kanicho na tokera mkwa ibamwa.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are breaking the news of this very powerful statement that has come at the eve of elections for America. Zambia is already into voting.
And the final hours of the campaign changed the mood of tomorrow's vote. After months of rallies, promises, debates, and political battles, the campaign trail officially comes to an end today. Tomorrow, millions of Zambians will head to the polls to make their voices heard. As the final campaign hours unfold, what are you watching for? Can the final hours of the campaign change the mood of tomorrow's vote? After months of rallies, promises, debates, and political battles, the campaign trail officially comes to an end today. Tomorrow, millions of Zambians will head to the polls to make their voices heard. As the final campaign hours unfold, what are you watching for?
But PS, let me bring you on.
Yep. So, thank you very much, Mama. And thank you very much for Wakola Wamunkonge, who is also, re-emphasizing the point that has come from the American government, the American senator that have highlighted what we have been talking about. And I'm glad that we have been talking about strengthening the democratic institutions and also to just let the will of the Zambians be respected. And also, above all, we have spoken about this shrinking democratic space. Different stakeholders have spoken about it. Different political parties have spoken about it. The stakeholders that were very much on the side of the UPND at the time they were coming into government because of the hope that they voted. But those have since been reminding the UPND to say, we supported you on a trajectory to change, but nothing has changed. And you find that there is a few of the people that would want to twist the facts that are just before their eyes. The facts that they have really tried to destroy the opposition, the alternative voice, the contestation of ideas that is always floated to be, the beacon of our democracy is no longer there. It's like when people are scared to say things, now they're going to say it through the ballot. One of the, I remember, I think it was last year, I came up across a BBC reporter who said that, I know it was 2021, he had just reproduced to say, oh, there goes the Zambians in their sluggish way of changing leadership. Zambians, we don't look like, you can oppress us, you can push us, you can think that you own us. But there's a time that the Zambians make a decision. And when they make a decision like they've made now, there is literally nothing you can do to stop that will in the Zambian people. And that is why you see other governments, other regional bodies, other stakeholders within Zambia are raising the alarm to say, no, you cannot step on our freedom. And one of the freedoms that we have enjoyed from 1990, when we changed from one party, one party state to the multi-party democracy, is a freedom to speak our minds, is a freedom to say. Anyone who tries to get into that, I think they get their fingers bent. It doesn't matter what good things you can do, but if you are going to oppress us, we will say no. And across the country, you can see the mood. People are saying no to this brutality. It's a brutality that is done by not the cadres that are supposed to be caged, but now state institutions like the police. When they start to move in and start to just stiffen, you get arrested first. I don't know about if I would be, I should say something around the statements that I saw my two colleagues put up, Matembo and the Kawana. It was laughable. It was very, I felt embarrassed as a former permanent secretary when I saw what our friends were saying. It's like they don't know what happens before the person is arrested. You can't arrest and then you go in public, you don't have information, then you say, oh, on that we will come back to you later. You can't arrest and say, Uzakambila kusogoro. Where is evidence? At Sakirani evidence. Arrest first, then start looking for evidence. Then after you find evidence, then you come to the public now to come and talk about cooked evidence. You tell people, we are suspecting that the three government officials had committed a crime. Why didn't you say it when you arrested them? They had first to disappear. And when there's public outcry, then you come back and say, oh, wait a minute. Now they committed the crime. And what crime did they commit? We will tell you. We are still under investigation. If you're investigating, why are you arresting? These are some of the things that are very, very clear that they are doing things without the due process of the law. The due process of the law has been suspended for the UPND. The people that support the UPND, they are not subjected to the same law. I have consistently talked about one individual that has, for me, lived to show that there is selective justice system. And this selective justice, the person brutalizes the friend, gets him, beats him up, tortures him, and then posts online, and then comes back. He wants to arrest, torture the leader of the opposition. He wants to do harm. A person refuses. General Cannon refuses. I will not sing for the ruling party. I'm not going to sing for the opposition. I will only target the independents because the independents are neutral. They're the people. They are trying to be the bridge. Someone jumps on the stage, cuts his head down, with a machete, and nothing happens. We have not seen the arrest. We have not heard what happened to that person. One of their senior-most former members, Gary Ngoma, he is attacked in broad daylight, beaten up, his t-shirt is shirt on. He is even telling people right there to say, where is he going? Why are you not arresting him? The next day, he becomes the victim. The same person who was assaulted in full view of everybody stands next to our president. The expectation the president will say, get out of here. I don't like what you did and you should not be near me. Because the people they are assaulting are part of the people I'm supposed to protect. What happens? This gentleman goes again after other people. So these are things that are very, very, very dear to our society. We don't like people that behave like that. The next you see people branding guns, shooting, abducting. When people talk about abduction, that is not the way you arrest. If you are arresting a person, the person is, you follow him from their house. Then you decide to shoot while they are going in the way. Then you abduct them. Then they disappear. On what grounds? You ransack a center. They tell you the money you are getting is for our campaign team. They did not hide that it's not the money for the party. They told you it's money for the party and the purpose for which that money is intended. What do we hear our friends say? No, they got 7 million. They declared 800,000, whatever they say. The money was found at a place for which they are organizing themselves. You are not paying. Probably this is one of the things that talk about opposition financing. Because if government was financing the opposition to do their politics, and then they find such money, then they have a right to ask, to say, wait a minute, we gave you $2 million last year for your campaign. What is this money doing? But we do not finance. When we tried before 2021 to say, can we start having a law that compels political parties to disclose their financing? What happened? It was shut down by the same people that want others now to talk about the campaign financing. Have they told us, have they provided access to their finance campaigning, the campaigning that is they are doing, the t-shirts that are going everywhere? People are just coupled for them. Have they done that? The double standards in terms of how to run a country is what people are rejecting. This is what we are saying no to. You can't have different rules that apply to different people, same people. We can't do that. And then look at the whole thing. You go and arrest everybody, like 50 of the people that are in the Honorable Munduwire's campaign. You arrest them, then you tell them to say, now go into our stronghold, with also threats of harming people. With threats of, and then you say, no. You are being divisive because you haven't been to this region. No, you deliberately did that. You planned it. That when you rip every detail of security that can whisk this person in case of an attack, you put them away, and then you say, no, I'll go. So that when you don't go, then you change. Say, oh, wait a minute, you don't like us. You have not been. It doesn't work that way. Everybody knows. The only people that are not liked are people that are dividing us. The country is united. In Zambia, we do not like anyone who comes in the line with our unity. The southern province, the northern province, and any other group, we are one people. We got trained. Some of us got trained in southern province. I worked in southern province. I was from Mpurungu. So it doesn't make any sense whatsoever for someone to wake up and say, oh, Vali Tupata. They don't like us. That kind of talk for me, it really gets to my heart. Because when you look at the number of people that we have across the country, the number of friends, the people we were on the same teams, the people we shared blankets, not just a bed, they're from different regions. So we cannot allow one person to come and divide us. We must remove that one person. And that one person who has a responsibility to bring us together is the one dividing us. I have nothing against the president. I like him. He is a very disciplined person. Personally, when you look at him, he looks organized, and that is something that I liked about him. But now, this organization is not translating to the country. So he must go. He must go.
I can see we have a caller. Caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
My name is Jones Kesanso. I'm calling from the state of Washington in Vancouver.
Professor Jones Kasonso, you had promised me a closing statement for this election, and you haven't brought that closing statement.
I've tried to upload it, but for some reason it's not going online, both on TikTok and on Facebook. Yo mututuminazi under WeChat, we see what we can do with it. But you have an opportunity, so landeni. So balefayo kuwina my elections by P.
If you're Chamoneka.
Nomba ichalo wakalateka chalo nshi. These people, they don't understand Zambia. No mwine wa chalo wapangire chalo kaunda. Ali shirati chalo takuli kuchiteka by P. So, yeah, but we'll see. You know, I don't want us to get cooked up by rumors of rigging and all those kind of things. Let's just encourage the people to go and vote. I can quote a passage from the Bible that says, those with us are more than those against us. But no. Even if they try to rig, tafia kumanine, na number tafia kumanine. You know, people are going to vote in large numbers. They are going to try and offload a lot of ballots, and they are going to even throw in a lot of pre-marked ballots. The elections that usually get rigged are those that are close. But when there is a decisive vote from the people, tuitunta nemitima so konsoko muikere abantu ko kuzambia kabyefe muvote munuine pona chibuku not nevya kweba ati mule mfano mwenso uteko na buchinja iti abupuwa na tuleka kapatula na mtalo na kapwa. We are going to knit this nation together, and we are going to move together to develop the country. And we are not going we are no longer going to be focusing on tribalism and divisions against our people. We gave HH a chance, and HH failed. And HH failed because the African government and they started controlling him. So he didn't raise the money that he needed to change the welfare of the people. That is why this presidency is a failure. The so-called debt restructuring is a very meaningless exercise. Why? Because the debt restructuring, yes, has been done on the $11 billion. But what has he done? He has borrowed half of that money again on top of that. So the debt restructuring is meaningless because of increased borrowing. The so-called reserves are a charm also because much of those so-called reserves is actually just borrowed money. It's just swapping money. It's like now we kataka lesabi o ilia pankongole ero walifunya muwato bumbi ero walivika muwato bumbi ero walanda dionesa kiratani. So this guy has been a failure and continuing to govern the country because he will not get the cooperation from the people. The best thing is for him to let us restate the country and start afresh. I have been very offended and hurt. I've been very disappointed. Kuti shuwa Copland, number of Copland, against the government, you know. Bakopulande nokuokoba kwatakumo nangu kubipe mitima nomba nangu nantwanikane ishinshimbi bakaka abantu mwalaka kakwisa so bakopulande bakakire kumulu you know umutima wa ifiteo kateka atwire yakwata awe. The president over more than 22 million Zambians living in the country and arguing as if kwena Zambia kweba ikokunse ya chalo kutina fishmwe. You know, the president has to have a proper heart for the people. He has to have a trajectory. He has to understand the composition of his own country. This country does not comprise of only two tribes. This country comprises of a lot of people from different regions, from different tribes. You are going to see how Northwestern Province is going to break, because Vale Northwestern Province ni stronghold yabo. Mwala mona muri aba elections Northwestern Province ukuyini okwakulire Brian Mundubile ever elected break in this election. Ayama elections date ya wini haka inde takwete purpose or plan ya kuina pa ma election nango awina ma elections haka ya mkucha nation yo victory haka ikata fya abantu nokuchusha abantu. The other thing na chafu kwanda kwa mwamba umuteko waku Uganda abene bambuya wale bambuya ba umena bana kashi wale kuita ku Uganda. Umuteko waku Uganda tebo mwingaleta ku Zambia uwa wa no. We are a democratic country. We love what we do, and the person who wins and loses elections always does concede. The president has not convinced us that he is willing to concede the election. If he loses, the president is going to lose this election. And I want my people to be confident. Just go and vote, and then stay there. Let the vote be counted on your at your polling station, and then we will know when there are anomalies. They will need widespread anomalies by HH Pakuine election. Vali rusakale. Abantu vali karipechi chalo. Constitution ni baya panga constitution ya ngombe because ngombe umashipangira mafunde tashila ndako. Ile constitution abantu tabala ndireko. Vali leta mentality hivi. Ababa president aba kwato omutwe wa hexagon na baya kale. Ine kuno ninja mbana kufempira pomwangashi. Uteko wabupuwa unabupuwa nabupuwa si abupuwa nafipuwa lero nafipuwa mwamba nafipuwa si abupuwa wanaka nokuchita campaign lyonse tulachita campaign wale mkwa tule yangala. We were campaigning every day, every week. We spoke to different people on different platforms. The only people who insulted us and the only people who spoke against us Vatonga na Balozi. And the Balozi tabari na beji wali shabano. So what they've done is in the last few days, bale influencers. They were all over the internet. Kufunya shendala masha kumaini shari bali ngio kuhula shendala mno. Ukutsari invest kulipira kwa Kongole shimo. No kutsari invest muri economy bali bapera shendala bamaini. And then bamaini babwesha shendala babapera esho wale bonfyo kuta campaign ukupanga na rallies abantu bali kutika kuli nani message. The president was both boring and he didn't have a message for the people and he didn't win any new votes. The president is going to lose this election. He's going to lose this election. I'm telling you. Abantu bali kalipa mzambe wa mwamba bali kalipa abantu. So abata pali uko balea mtuwa nikane yabo. Tapali uko balea. So mwibana bati na ama elections usually ngatule chinja government kwa hata tension ya ifi. Nomba bale bula bakapokola nama soja ebo nomba bale mkuchita buli abantu mwe bantu ba Zambia mwitina bakapokola nama soja bantu banono sana abakwe batibese bamitinye bakapokola nama soja bafiro bali chindira bekala chalo teba firo kulambuta taka bekala chalo ahawe ubuteko even going forward ngabapati kishabe ile bawine elected bobe bakapokola.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I've got a caller here. Caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and give us your contribution. Mayo, Badishan, Nibama Machka Monekabo.
Nibama Machka Monekam.
Tuebe Duke Mwikele Kukitwe.
Nalitemwe fibe mbaba mwamba tuwikele mwisamba lya mpundu ufe mpundu eko shipona
emkwai
wena ichalo chesu cha Zambia chalo chabe na Kristo muchalo chesu cha Zambia ba mwamba mwali bo mutendene chibote abantu babamo tabafana okumona efibi mu menso yabo okwamba fyepo bapokeri obuntu ng'okwisafika lero ififi achitika muchalo cha Zambia litensha chalo ero kumwe situlanda tini tuwafu ankiti ni mutule
tatwa tala chitapo experience ifya msango oyo fipi akuli ifwe kuli ubuteko bwaba view once amashwina lalanda yakutira ati akosulile ekopile enoko inena ali ima paswe kaba mwambo kutira nde anchite witness nje mbefye I witness na laenda na babrani mundubile pakuti nkesela nde chinka nechine ngana ikala palianchikala pantu paliana ikala 5 years ukuchinja mindset ya bena Zambia na ikala 5 years ishata lalofu hapo pa social media ukuchinja mindset ya bena Zambia ababa Brian mundubile teba fwaya bena Zambia abena Zambia bale fwaya Brian mundubile paberelyo bwafya ama Zambia nzabene bachalo ebale fwaya Brian mundubile alaba mwambo kutwale yakwale bechitinta ngombe abantu bali chinja abantu bali fulwa background ichipani cha UPND tachaba poyo inshishi boko baberere but background fe peka fe abena Zambia abene bali chinja ndelilo balefa brand new. That's why na yeye ni ama vote ayala ba protected by abena Zambia balefa president uwabo wole saba pele ngatu alole shababa ba mwamba wesu ififi achitika mushkushampela kukuvoto abantu abakaka ulwa bafula inena ishwati umuntu ngalelo mbo bufumu kubantu kuichevya ati kupoke chitenda kunkoko kuna kirira ushuka kupoke chitenda kunkoko chimemba chali filimu kali purukutu awene ni papa ukuya pumaula abantu kuyalonga bayiche bose bali balonga tabavote ifwe bonse kale bali tupepeka ama gate panga ndapo mwandi bali toa abana tabeka la bwino kutinga na babasunkanye cyo winga papa ichano twinge kalamo ubu buteko mwandi nyukulanda fye chinganga na mayo ku mfyashi wacha mu chonse kabiri na nkoko chifukatire abana mu mapindo butara bwapa mwishi wa Zambia i government yaba UPND ifiriyo kuya ne walande chine bona mayo chifyala bana ngato amone file chitike filamba file pona nabaka unda po bayikala ala kwena balashana na musemu kuile chine fyendeni banga bamona fyefya ifi awe bipashita ilele era nomba na isa kumulandu ukalambo uchitike mchalo cha Zambia bamwamba oponshira isa kumulandu ukulambo uchitike na lalanda kuli chirufya tayari ati yo brand mundu bileta kwete na 10%. Ala walicherwa Brian mundu vile ukweta mazambia nzabe nyama akwete power chirufya tayari Brian mundu vile kosulile kopile noko iwe chirufya tayari walino kufaya felofe muyobe wa ikala kai niwe boloya wabalanda nomba buloya bwabalanda bobe bwa musango shani ububo wako atawego ukavaseto dirisa tatule fwaye filfulunga nyamchalo chesu cha Zambia ukuisa ba mwambo kuisa kolonga nikabali aba ichenkali pila byonse kufya kaucha balya fyama morals bajaba iche bonse Zambia yose bo bayashita no belo badashana mu Zambia lo bala putika no belo bala tanga na lo bala panduka no mbamuchalo bwa bana pana ma red barret na lole shaine mama chika moneka bali abe nebo nkali pila bali abe nabo nkali pila kufichitwa nomba abantu bali chimona shani utira umuntu mukalamba uringa katika wachalo kuyabula bajabe ni abana baona ikamcharo chaza babe ni abana bo tukalipira bwala sangwana bo le imilio na kunta nchukula landa pachalo nomba abantu bala tamba bebele kanje hivi ichimwandini ile shata la monapo ukuyabwesha nabo bene bachimfya tayari ndombelo bala tana bala panga na kuchalo abena Zambia bachimfya tayari balichinja ama Zambia steva yaba fimbene puma kalino abatupete bapya tenti bali kusula aloko kusula kwati katushi iwe bakusulira pamona siya wa echo twala pele na brand mundu biliyo bufumu Zambia pako bakichite get lead of siya wanda iwe tayari tuchite get lead babashina people babufiba pucha babe ya motunwa Shima people bashaka kufuma kaunda bepa yebu shima people uma politics emwa ikarasi yemwa bepa abantu isejja pokolo de kwa abantu bali chinja bashima people bonse balya ino ine 2026 epo tulevu abashima people bonse balya baye batushe bachibaka bepa winine bali amali cycle ndi bashima people bashinguruka mufani Muche Muzambia munoto alikuwa tabashima pepo abatuntu tabalolisha ko kubalolesha tabalana poneshi kanu fe balabe ne baputi bali abashonongo bashaka shaka ba na ma professor avina chibe amikana kanwa kubufi na chitunja mikana chinwa kubufi apata mwabe peribiru tibefa yo kubipasa nganya bamwamba wesu kuli chintu chimwe chichitike muchalo infula nayiroka infula nayiroka
mu August
infula nayiroka patenti in August infula yaliroka patron August na pa 11 yaliroka 11 na 12 yaliroka na chirase chinga mu Bible yatwebo kutira infula nga yaloka nishuusuma buleisa muchalo isuma fileisa infula yaba pabiri yaba mukulete ifisuma no kulete ifibi infula yaba pabiri mukulete ifisuma no kulete ifibi so infula irokere mu Zambia yi efi yaba kale bale kwatale sale bale bapela ama science ini sign yako ati Brian Mundubile ni chosen by God nasa wakulilesa na batapirisha ichalo cha Zambia no kutulango kwa chichalo mwali cha sacrifice ukuchiwesha kuli inenelesa no mbalekeni mirangi ati ninevolesa mwebe na Zambia lesa libapa chalo cha Zambia church ne chalo cha bena Kristo lero ni subina ukumona ile mfula ya lokele pa 11 na pa 18 tuipanga mistake lesa na tufonte akateka ni Brian Mundubile ngatu natupela umwinelesa tusalile ntongushi ama miracles mwalimu na kumulunga mwalesha kulimo kutwafu mwalimu na chirya chirinyi chikuru chali kumulu na kanono pakati chili light kumulu kukwini eno no baisa location enfuna akalelesa kwale befi yakumwena kwa ma science taifena tupela sign yako ati ule ni vote mupele Brian Mundubile twali bachetekere batataba we trusted him kubapele chalo ba 2.8 twalini ni apaso ikangani nebo bamwambala ala chinenga na lifile no kufamle mfafi pakusapoto itata ukwisa mwana fiefisela nati ya kutata mayo na ali chitabwino kuchita resign within 6 months bantu ine shika lapa liububi na chitana resign ata wow ndiye mieba na kaliaka ichika kaliaka lumbanya kaliaka laka junior bali kaliaka na kachita resign na kachita indoors Brian Mundubile pa last minute muleba tinishu fisuma infula na iloka Bible yaku yali twebo kuchira kwale besi yaku mwena ko ichi chaku mwena ko mwebe na Zambia kuipanga no mupuso eno nachuwa maine ni ntemwa bamwamba wesu pamulando wakutira abale chita protect ama votes bantu ala kulimbiro bale bapisha kulimbiro ne ole tabani ala kulimbiro ululubiro lwaku bweshi bayiba abene bale ya pokolola ndemye Brian Mundubile takwetena lawyer paliali lawyer wako bena Zambia ema lawyers bako Brian Mundubile lelo abene bachalo ema lawyers bako elo lesangala that yes no one can say no we are tired if you twapitilemo fyali kula ndeni becha kuti inenji kala mumbali ya Black Mountain abana balefu pa Black Mountain bale suna ikokula mkuba posa na chitipa kumocha ne wale bakufidiro filiani ne kula shita mabunga not even government nenko kona ngonimba kochi kula posa bana kwati ni nama pa Black Mountain abana bafire kumfungwe ne mfuti abana babalanga ya cyaya fa yakakuli abana bale chula bayipaya bambya bafyashita bakwete nempia kusenda mabonde bali bola mumpanga muri amwe abana okubolela mumpanga balira bafyashi bali naka abana okuya bapasanganya kwati ma slaves ukutwike visaka abasendele fya kushitisha fyonso kuya ocha abatu capital abantu bali chula bamukamfiro kulafuira kulakwi mwe bana bakwalisa abo bato beri amayanda kukasompe nokutwe bati fimbeni mupoke mulenya mulera pira mulepia ne londa bamayo nabo bayimitofole nabo bayabika po bwafye bamwe net pari bwafye nabo bayabati imitofole elu abana mu mishino moto anana litamba para na le nina pamuru para pa stage utu ana mulu bayabana 10 years 15 years elo na lile filamba bamwamba ndemiba na tu yamayo mubi uliyamayo mubi imitofole mu bana abana onero muchalo mu buchushi wayaye baba nati imitofole uliyamayo imitofole afiri okuya tatulefona okulamu mona muchisheshe kwangala kuleberanga shekyalo pantu namayo afiri okwato mutima wabuna mayo pantu nina nkoko tufukatira bana namayo tafiri okuba kwatichiwa namayo tafiri okuba kwatiditeraela namayo tafiri okuba kwatidinani kade mwibali ya eden eva bushebu lya bueva tagwaka pwe buli bana mayo pantu namayo abera ko kumonefiri no chukula monefi suma ifi byale kumonefi suma inshuya namayo talevai kana kumoneka muchisheshe cy'abantu pantu nishumushu wambuka so bamwamba wesu apa okubye bafye kinene kishinka ineneka neka fe mama chikamoneka nali opo nali cha indoors ba brand ngire na makebi zuru leke mateke chalo ero ma lawyers besi ba control ni chalo pantu chalo cha Zambia tachira yo buya ntashia fyo buya numa inena lile ku chalo chimosha lumbule ba mwamba wesu kwali ba foreign no aba Zambia mu ali kulo mushikwati ni Lusaka yonse kuchalo kumwabo kufunye ndalama sha Zambia la kwaba mayanda ya tata naleta inyo kuyalile ndamba ndemye ngachako bati foreign ya kulo mushuri yanga Lusaka mwaba ama buildings chisha abantu besu bachulira mu Zambia tulefu president wala bakwati Mamadou Traoré. Thank you.
Mayo mwabo mbanatasha sana yo mwafunda. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let me take the last call and I bring my team. My team needs to go and rest. We will take a break and we'll come for a broadcast later. Let me just take 2 last calls. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Good morning, Ambassador Mwamba.
Good morning.
I choose to remain anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
All right. Ambassador Mwamba, first and foremost, I just want to appreciate you for the great job that you are doing.
Thank you very much.
We are so grateful.
Thank you.
Sure. In my contribution, I just want to urge the Electoral Commission of Zambia just to respond to the concerns that have been raised so far. Because, it's so disappointing that we've been preparing for these elections and we are surprised that some of the things are not really in place like fully. So what have we been doing all along? Because if people can be raising such complaints, like, there is only one booth in those polling stations where we expect to have a lot of people who are supposed to vote. So what have they been doing as a commission? So I feel what they are supposed to do is they really need to just do a right thing, and that's what is just expected of them. So if we should start employing certain tactics, so to speak, that will try and disadvantage some parts of the country which are considered to be the strongholds for the opposition, then we are not going to call these free and fair elections. So the ECZ, and by the way, just from the appointments to the commission that were done by the president, we are able to say we are not going to expect something sensible from these elections, because how do you appoint people from a political part to go and manage elections? So all these things that we are seeing right now, we are even convinced, and we are also confirming to say what we were thinking in the first place after seeing those appointments. We are trying to confirm them, because there is no way. If these elections were budgeted for, and we all know the registered voters in those areas, of which we are supposed to know how many booths are supposed to be there, we should not have a person entering a booth or the polling station that they should spend 15 to 20 minutes just for one person. So how many people are we going to have that they are going to successfully cast their votes? Because voting is just between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. So how many people are going to vote? Because we are talking about, is it 8 million, 7 million voters stand to be guided. So how many people are going to vote? So there will be a situation where there will be voter suppression in some parts, and that will strongly disadvantage the opposition. You can imagine the opposition has already been disadvantaged even during the campaign period, where we've seen the blocking of the Tonse Alliance, presidential campaign team. More than 50 people have been apprehended, arrested, or something without giving them their proper charges. So what kind of an election are we expecting? So my appeal is to the ECZ. What we expect from you is just the mandates that we've given you to do a right thing. Just manage free and fair elections, because we can't stop the will of the people. Just allow everyone to vote, and then the Zambian people will decide. You can't really force to still hold on to power. Power belongs to people. Let's allow people to vote freely. People, even these other law enforcement agencies, can you just do a right thing? History has a tendency of repeating itself, eh? Unfortunately, let's learn from the past. There is a tomorrow. You should not forget that. What happens if, let's say, what happens if maybe the government changes? Where are you going to be? Public servants, can we please behave in a very good manner? Let's be professional. Let's allow the due process to take its course so that we can have free and fair elections. Then the winner will be decided by the will of the people. Ambassador Mwamba, thank you so much. This program that you are running is a very, very good, because some of us who are now back home, at least we're able to follow what is happening across the country just through this program that you are running. I recommend you for this.
Thank you very much.
And all the panelists and their points that they are raising, they are very, very much valid, and we are following. We are here. We are following the program, Ambassador Mama.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from, and make your contribution.
Good morning, Ambassador. This is Kimba, and I'm calling from Germany.
My dear sister, make your contribution.
Yes, please. Thank you. I just want to first applaud the Zambians for being strong, for being resilient, and not for resorting to crimes, despite them being gagged, not being able to speak, not having rights, which President Hakainde does not understand. He speaks of free education. You cannot have free education in a land where children are going not to have a voice. I don't understand how those two correlate. So we appreciate his free education, but we have been telling him to say there are things that he needed to do in that free education for it to be qualitable. President Hakainde Hichilema has a problem. He doesn't know how to listen to the people and understand what their grievances are. And I think that this is the major downfall of his reign. The thing is, we tell him, this is the problem that we're having. We don't like this thing that you're doing. He will tell you, you have to like it because I did this. No, we are telling you, we don't even like what you did. So he is governing us. He needs to understand the people he's governing. But then if he wants to govern us according to how he sees it or perceives it to be like the right way, we will not agree, because we are not kindergarten. In Zambia, we have morals, we have values. We are Christians. Aside our constitution, we value our Bible. You see? So we have been complaining to him to say there are Freemasons in the country, they are gathering, they are having this and this in Livingstone. He hasn't been able to say a word. His government has never said a word, meaning that he condones it. Yet he knows that Zambians don't like such things. Even if they do them, they should continue to do them in secret. But no, he wanted to expose those things. He brought Bill 7. We told him, we don't like this bill, let it wait. He forced it down the throat of the Zambians until it went through. It backfired right in his face. Still, he didn't learn. I mean, he's been pushing the land law, and Zambians, this is the time I'm happy that we're going to remove him, because had he gone through this time, he was going to still bring back that land law that he wanted, that all the power should be vested in a registrar. He would just be grabbing land like that, you see. Look at how he brutalized the youths in Mufumbwe. Zambians were making noise and saying, how can you say exterminate? Of course, we want to have order when it comes to mining our minerals. We want our government to help us and not to abuse us, to support us and not to downgrade us. That's not why we choose our leaders. We choose leaders to support us, to help us when we are weak. He talks of debt restructuring. Hello? Not everybody is an economist in Zambia. Okay, let's say they restructured debts. And I heard him the other day was saying that he inherited a broken economy. Quite okay, we agree what PF did. He did, but why did he give away our taxes? Because you don't inherit a broken economy and then say, and then interlamesh, which means the economy is okay. So the two, they don't go together. Mamona. And then minerals, only him and his government, they are the ones plundering our land and getting our resources. Few people enjoying at the expense of so many millions of Zambians who are suffering, and we are complaining to him. He can't even listen. He bill 10, he bills, he cyber bill. PF, he's one of the people who said, if I be president, I will repeal it, I will not even sign it. He went and signed it in secret. Even if it's to bring back a leader, should we bring President Hakainde Hichilema just because he has made education free? Yes, we appreciate it, but it's not a favor. We have resources in Zambia. It's been long overdue. He did it. We'll remember him for that. We applaud him. We don't take that away from him. But we are going to work on it and improve it. Corruption, transfer. You know, a lot of things have gone wrong. FRA, but now Mozambia, maize is the staple food. You don't play with maize, Mozambia. But you don't play with maize. But no, because these guys, they don't value the lives of a suffering Zambian. Millions, their children go abroad and come back. See, they have taken their families abroad because they don't know how the situation will be. But Zambians, if they were to die, they'll be the one dying now. So no, President Hakainde Hichilema needs to go and rest. Yes, part of the country was sidelined. So you know. So that is why you should bring unity. Foreign service, I know Ghana has a Luvali, but how do you function? You are an ambassador, you are Tonga, you are Luvale, and then everybody under you is Tonga. How do you even function? You don't know whether they are spies or whatever they are doing. You don't know. You are just there as a robot. And you have been crippled. So that's not how to run government. So he cannot cry foul because Zambians have been good enough to advise him, to complain to him. Had he been a listening leader, President Hakainde Hichilema would have at least even changed direction at year 2 or year 3, because at that time, people had already begun to complain. He knows. Advisors, Cornelius Witwa, all these people, they cannot advise the president. Those people have no wisdom. That guy is an information minister who's supposed to disseminate information for public consumption. Me, I take it's coming from the president, but he speaks trash whenever he opens his mouth. If you are Mungulu, no, it's my position. Let me know where to end, what to tell the people, even when I'm alone. So, you know, and PF Shirama projects, give ambassador. These guys, they were supposed to complete a school, hospitals, but no, because agenda yabo, they didn't come to develop Zambia. They didn't come to help Zambians. That's why their main interest is to tamper with the book of the land. The constitution agenda bakwata abanga mu abalekerera bakachinja fyonse bakalanda timwirafu ala pakwenda umwana ngafyala kumwipaya shanshan, because that's their main interest kuchinja ma regulation mchalo, and that's why leadership yawe ibelele dangerous. No matter if you bengalanda tofo bachitile, whether they have brought free education, whatever. CDF goes to cadres. All the MPs even in Northwestern Province, they have lined up their families. They're the ones that get CDF. It doesn't go to an ordinary Zambian. Even my sister was saying that this cash for work, if I had anybody, I would have gone to sweep Mumisebo, but I can't because I don't have connection. She's not linked to the MP. So that CDF that the president sings about, it's only in his head. Zambians have never seen it. They don't know about it. In fact, we don't even know if it exists. CDF has always been there, but tatuishi veo 40 million oko iya. Iya kubantu babo bapela. Taiya kuma Zambians awe. Fefia imitayo fole, fia kuishiva bene, nesha fishiva. So, ofyo baba fumisha puaba, it's a deaf government. And they must go. It's a deaf government. But it's a downgrade. I'm a soldier. Whatever. What to paper? What about manova police? Whatever. Employer makada. Whatever. Pela my info. Takwa becharo cha befi. I don't know who deceived President Hakainde Hichilema to say if you do this, you are going to stay in power. You can't. Mr. President, you needed to understand your environment, the people that you govern. Zambians don't like these things, and Zambians are not Ugandans. Ugandans don't know how to change government. You understand? That's why a president can stay there from 1986 to today or 1982. In Zambia, we change, just like we're changing you 5 years. You are a one-term government. Why? Because you didn't understand the territory you were governing. And I believe that you should learn. You, your people, your colleagues, they should learn from this mistake. Because in UPND, nobody will need to come and destroy it the way you did to PF. And all the time you are saying our colleagues were in government for 10 years. Well, in government. You are the president of PF, President Hakainde Hichilema, in case you forget. You are the president of MMT, you are the president of PF, you are the president, you have gotten all these political parties, and that's why you need to go. Because if you don't go, you will still get NRPP, Resolute Party, you will get all this party because you are greedy, Papa, and then you don't work. The only thing you do is to focus on opposition and destroy them. That is why you are failed. That is why you have not done any project in Zambia. The only road that you've constructed, you gave away our targets for 25 years, of which that Nkongole will only end when I'm about 70 years. Who does that? And that road will not be in existence anymore. So for me, there is nothing that you have done. Totally, I'm sorry to say, you have not done anything. At least in Gamwachimen Salam Chalo, you are comforting your people, being honest. Mulebebe chinka, muleba fuidisha tualachitefi, you are updating them, not covering up. And then on top of that, you don't allow the people to talk. Now mwikala fe pali chisaiba, muleta na fembi. So aba, bali ingiri okuya, mwebena Zambia, mwebali voteni, aba bantu. Bale abakatushe ababantu bayisa mkona ule chalo. They don't love Zambia, they don't love Zambians, they don't even understand us. These people have an invisible hand that gives them direction on what to do, and that hand is against our country, and that is why they need to go. This is a strange government ruling in a very wrong territory.
Thank you very much. Let me bring in my team. There are so many calls, but let me bring in my team so that they can say their last word. Augustine, let's start with you. Your reflections from the callers and the massive turnout by Zambians. I think we are reporting that there's massive turnouts, including places like Solwezi, Mongu. They are very good places that have had huge voter turnout. Of course, there seems to be a deliberate ploy to frustrate the voters with technicalities and the bureaucracy surrounding elections. Let's start with you, Augustine.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. The callers have poured their hearts out. They are following events back home. Some of them are at home and giving sufficient updates on what is happening. It is good to note that there are good numbers coming out. People are voting. We are seeing long queues, and this is impressive. Of concern is, again, the manner in which ECZ has deployed and managed the elections. I've just seen a video, I think in Lusaka's Chalala area, where a polling station was at a church and they were attempting to move it to a school on grounds that the initial venue is smaller. I don't know why, within the voting period, 6 to 6, ECZ can allow a situation where the voting polling station should be switched. I think these are situations that will create suspicions, and those suspicions will lead to chaos. ECZ must be very, very careful. It is also concerning that when you look at the pattern of voter suppression in particularly opposition strongholds, there are systematic ways they are trying to frustrate the voters. There are unnecessary delays. There are also, reports of lack of material in some of these polling stations. I think the operation team at ECZ should be on top of things. If there are materials that are missing, materials that are not sufficient, then they have to move in. Some voters are not identifying the streams where their names would be and where they would vote from. That again is also concerning. I've seen that there's a situation in Livala where voters are complaining that they can't identify the stream in which they're supposed to be voting and they want to vote. So all these concerns put together, when they are amalgamated, they will create problems for us, and we have to avoid this situation. ECZ must be on top of things and desist from any underhand method that would disenfranchise some of the voters in the country. We need everyone to vote quickly as they can. But otherwise, kudos to the Zambians that are braving, the chilly weather. It's reportedly pretty cold this morning, and but there are very, very good queues. There are good queues around the golf club, pretty much the same, if not more than what we saw in 2021. There are good queues in Oldlands. Lusaka Central is also turning out in huge numbers. So this is very good for our democracy. And, we need to continue encouraging the people, those that are still at home, to continue turning out, make sure they exercise their civic duty and contribute to choosing who will be their leader in the next 5 years.
Thank you very much. Let's go to PS. PS, just a minute.
Yes, PS.
PS,
is here.
make your response and final words as we take a break so that I can summon you again. Your reflections so far, with the initial reports we've covered during the early morning.
Well, firstly, I wish to agree with my brother Augustine. Is spot on, and he's precisely said what some of the observations that I did as well, especially in as far as voter suppression is concerned. So when you look at what is coming out, they are systematic. It's very systematic. At first, it is not going to cause a problem, but as we start to go into late afternoon, if the pattern continues, it's going to be a problem. People are going to be agitated. People are going to be angry about delays. They've stood up in the lines for a long time. Now, ideally, people would react. And what I can tell the voters right now is there's a deliberate ploy to make you get upset. And when you get upset and in the midst of confusion, that is when things can happen. That is when wrong things is likely to happen. Either they disperse you, they come and close, they count at the time that this is what we got, the numbers are not adding up, people were violent, therefore we had to make a decision to stop. So such things could happen. So this system which is playing right now, do not buy that. We call upon the stakeholders that are monitoring these elections to make sure that if there is the ECZ officials, they are brought in to make sure that this is addressed and to make security guarantees of the people that are on the line to vote. Please, it's going to be a little bit systematic. They will change certain things to just differentiate you so that, you know, the numbers in the strongholds for the opposition managed. So that process needs to be stopped. We don't need to get upset. Getting upset would be a choice we make. For today only and today only, please let's exercise the utmost patience, the utmost peace that is required to make sure that you cast the vote and you protect your vote. And please use the gadgets that you have. You have phones. Capture as much detail as possible. And maybe during the day when counting starts or something happens, I think this platform, Ambassador is going to guide us in terms of how we can now start to upload what is the experiences are in different parts of the country, so that we are able to show people that this is what is happening. Like my brother, Sam Konka had said there, to say, let's see what is happening here. He's brought out a few places which are getting problems, but then, you know, people would rather see, when they see what is going on, it becomes easy. And also be careful with the generation of AI. It is a tool that could be used to make you believe, but believe in your vote. Protect the vote. After you cast it, you can come back and be there, be peaceful. Do not buy the aggression that is going to come from anybody. And then on the people that have called, I like Mamachika Moneka Kwena I like it. You know, she's very frank. She's very, very brutally honest. That is one thing that defines Mamachika Moneka. You are very, very, very frank. And those are the ladies, those are the women of our time. The women that have stood up to the power that be and call it the way they see it. I like the term what lying while or standing, you know. So we may need to look at that. And then let's see, listen to people that are on the ground. Mama Chika Moneka has always been a community leader. She's always been around people, checking what is happening in the community. And Mama Chika Moneka continue that. Be part of the system that brings out what is happening and education the way you do it. I was also particularly happy with my sister from Germany who brought in, you know, the issue of not listening to people when they're telling you when you're in leadership. And when at the time that now they come to make the decision, you want to start stuffing it. She is right. I have personally and other people in different forums.
Out is coming, and now the entire process on election day is panning out. This election has attracted international attention, including the breaking news that we provided. So I think, Augustine, let's see if we can take some rest, and then we come back.
Okay.
I'll let you know. I can see my PS is frozen and.
Continuing the violence, we will not allow that. This election will be free and fair, and the winner will emerge. Let the winner take charge of the country.
In the final hours of the campaign, change the mood of tomorrow's vote. After months of rallies, promises, debates, and political battles, the campaign trail officially comes to an end today. Tomorrow, millions of Zambians will head to the polls to make their voices heard. As the final campaign hours unfold, What are you watching for? Can the final hours of the campaign change the mood of tomorrow's vote? After months of rallies, promises, debates, and political battles, the campaign trail officially comes to an end today. Tomorrow, millions of Zambians will head to the polls to make their voices heard. As the final campaign hours unfold, what are you watching for?
She will get such a